in a very, very local level, we are telling a bigger story of how can one individual make a difference in their small community, in their small setting.
The term observational documentary brings to mind works from cinema verite masters like Frederick Wiseman and the Maysles Brothers, filmmakers who perfected the art of patient, fly-on-the-wall storytelling. Now, filmmakers Sara Khaki and Mohammadreza Eyni have managed to secure an Academy Award nomination for their film Cutting Through Rocks, a recognition that's never been conferred on the feature-length films of the iconic filmmakers that inspired them. But then Khaki and Eyni have the great fortune of framing their film around the story of Sara Shahverdi as confident and charismatic a central figure as any documentarian could ever wish for. We get to spend time with Shahverdi and follow along as she becomes the first Iranian woman elected as a council member in a rural village. A motorcycle-riding badass, we watch as Shahverdi slowly but patiently chips away at the patriarchy by pursuing policies that aim to empower women and inspire young girls to see beyond the traditional roles that have limited the options of prior generations. Beautifully shot and masterfully stitched together, Cutting Through Rocks is a film that inspires hope, showing us that the work of a single determined individual can lead to lasting and meaningful change. Our conversation with Oscar-nominated filmmakers Sara Khaki and Mohammadreza Eyni, part of our ongoing Academy Award-nominated documentary series on Inside the Arthouse, starting now.
Hi, my name is Greg Lemley, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Arthouse. We're going through a survey of all of this year's Oscar-nominated documentaries and getting an opportunity to talk with the teams behind those films. And today, I'm joined by the team that is behind the film Cutting Through Rocks. We have Sara Khaki and Mohammadreza Eyni. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Greg.
You know, the film it's set in a small rural village in Iran and follows this just amazing character who defies all expectations, I guess, of certainly what a lot of people would have maybe of a woman in today's Iran. How did you meet her?
I was born and raised in Tehran, Iran. And I grew up witnessing so many women like Sara Shahverdi, who's the lead character in Cutting Through Rocks. You know, in my family, in my extended family, those women who are really living their lives against all the setbacks and just paving the way for the next generation. I would say my sisters in my family are kind of like Sara Shahverdi in my life. And then I left Iran when I was 18, quite young. And now having lived equally between the two worlds, some of the topics in retrospect, and I can think back, some of the topics that are explored in Cutting Through Rocks, mainly the gender injustice and the way in which women's body become a battleground, our shared concerns here or elsewhere, you know, wherever we are from. And so with these ideas in mind, I also was curious to know what about those women who never left our country, our home country, and how are they doing? How are they pushing boundaries if they can? And so through an extensive research, I came across this really amazing, tenacious individual who's living in the northwest of Iran, the only female motorcycle rider in the region. She had been a midwife and delivered 400 kids in her rural village back when there was no hospitals. And so when I got a hold of her, I told her, what is she up to? And she, after a few months, she was just back and forth phone calls. She shared with me that she's thinking about running for a council seat. And I knew that there's a story here, but I also knew that I wouldn't be able to tell the story on my own. Because for two reasons. One is that I needed a collaborator who is great, who is a wonderful cinematographer, to be with me. But I also knew that because of the male, because of the setting, because it's male dominated.
It's a patriarchy, yeah.
And I knew that, yes, it's important for me as a woman to tell the story, but I also needed a collaborator who could create a setting for this dialogue to exist. And I had the pleasure of working with Mohammadreza on a past project remotely. I was in New York, Mohammadreza was always in Tehran. And so we had discussed cinema for months and months and months. So I kind of understood his language and he understood mine. But so I called, he was the only person I was thinking of to call. So I called Mohammadreza and I said, let's go to this village together because there's a story here.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that she called me. And actually, it was an amazing chance for me because I'm coming from the community of Azeri-speaking people in northwest of Iran. So many films that coming from Iran and you have seen are in Farsi language.
Yes.
And mostly coming from big cities. And this time, it was amazing chance for me to tell a story coming from my own community. Despite more than 30% of Iranian people speak this language, it's rare to find films coming from this region. So I witnessed a lot of same stories of women, teenage girls. So when Sara called me, I was like, yes, amazing story. And also for me, as a male director, going to the village and make a film, intimate film about women was not possible. So Sara, as a female director, made it possible. So
right, there are situations where you're maybe excluded or not trusted.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we entered to the village together, but we didn't expect that we are going to spend 8 years of our lives working on this film. And actually it was 8 sessions of filming. And each time we stayed there for 50 days or 70 days or 90 days for a very long time because of observational nature of cutting through rocks. We wanted to be there and actually feel the changes that our main character, Sara Shahverdi, is offering to the village. So it was very important to be there and make it tangible for the audience that what is happening there. And I'm happy that we are patient. But many times we are not sure that we are going to finish the film.
Right, well, there was a little interruption, I assume, as well. I mean, you started shooting in 2017, and then the world stops in 2020.
Yes.
Yes.
To a large degree.
But that wasn't the only hurdle.
Well, no, it's a documentary film, of course.
Yeah. So, and actually I can say that we started working on this project as colleagues and friends. And then in the process of making this film, we got married.
Okay.
So it was also...
Does that make it easier or harder to finish the film?
It's I think easier.
Yes.
So being together and also we always, both of us have a lot of things to talk about. So also facing with so many obstacles while making the film or so many sad stories while covering a lot of different stories, we needed each other and we became each other's therapists in the process to support and just reminding each other that why we are here and why we are working on this story. And actually Sara brought a lot of knowledge about women inequality and women's situation. So that way also it was a learning process for me from both Sara Shahverdi in the film and Sara Khaki as a filmmaker behind the camera. And I always mention that for making films like Cutting Through Rocks, we need 2 Saras. One behind the camera, one in front of camera with same mission of bringing change, good change for the community of people and also for fighting for better future for coming next generation.
I wanted to add that the whole idea around the film, the way it worked out, Sara Shahverdi being open to us being there, and later on the whole village being open to the idea of us being there and filming, us getting to, I mean, I had a return ticket back to New York. I mean, this wasn't meant to be an 8-year journey, but just the whole process. And then also later the team that we that came together to work with us as a team, like for Cutting Through Rocks. Everything was so serendipitous and was so interesting, just the way everything worked out, This wasn't planned. None of this was planned. I never envisioned myself returning back home and living there for as long as I did, and that's really what this uncertainty, this chaos, but at the same time, this everything was meant to be,
Right. Well, there's a lot going on in the country, in the world as well, but certainly. But during the time of your filming, there were several major protests, movements. Mostly we see from the big cities, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have some impact on the rest of the country.
Absolutely.
And not to mention whatever other international incidents are going on. And yet the film really keeps its laser focus on Sara and the village. But I guess, obviously, well, right. The world intrudes.
I just find all the things that so we focus on this one character.
Yeah.
And her journey. And I think this is everything that she is going through are symbolic of the world around us. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they're just stopping her from doing anything that she's trying to do. And same with whatever is going on in our lives, or however the leaders are dictating how we should be or where we can go. These are all symbolic of our lives. Mm-hmm. So in a way, Sara, we were kind of thinking about how, whether or not she wins, we wanted to follow her. We wanted to see how she can, how this one person can exist in this setting, in this world. But also, especially when she wins, we were really curious to see how she's using this local power.
Right.
And how she's really, sometimes you promise changes. You promise things, but is she really able to do that? And for us, we were really curious about that dynamic, how she's doing that. And when she holds a stamp, the stamp is really a symbol of power.
Yeah.
It's like a figurative, but also literally, she's the power.
Yeah.
And so it's in a way, in a very, very local level, we are telling a bigger story.
Yeah.
Of how can one individual make a difference in their small community, in their small setting.
Yeah. Let's take a look at a clip of the election scene from the film. So this is a clip from the film Cutting Through Rocks, again, one of this year's nominees for Best Documentary Feature, and it's directed by Sara Khaki and Mohammadreza Eyni.
Kamera. Eyvallah. Haydi gelsin. Kiyegenler o serin mi de setelan şey.
Dilim sonra taraftan arkasını. Yapsa gelsin.
Gece ya.
Şimdi bağlandı.
Ya
ne Arthouse ya. Yiğit.
Ya bak. Allah.
Gece gel. Sonra. Bablar da yedi.
Salla sen.
Korkma ben. Kaçak. Söz altısına ya.
Sağ ol. سلام سلام کیشیه سلام
I love that. Yes, and she ultimately wins. That idea of starting locally, starting small. I mean, it's interesting. I guess a little bit about democracy in Iran. What is the situation there? Because when we talk about perhaps maybe the national elections, I guess it's not quite free and fair elections in the sense that there's a lot of control over who is even able to run as a candidate. But in these local elections, is that kind of control exist?
So I can say for us, this film was a long masterclass of studying the power in a local level. That Sara first having problem as a female to get power, but we see young generation supporting her to be in power. Why? Because also they want the change. They think that Sara is someone who is going to bring change to their lives and supporting them. And later when she gets the power, also we see some people that staying against her because they don't.
Well, that's going to happen.
Yeah, and, because they think that Sara's idea are maybe against tradition, maybe, they are afraid of losing their own power over people.
Right.
So this was one of the things, important things to witness for us as filmmakers, and also seeing how contagious the change could be. And we see also a lot, despite a lot of setbacks, also Sara has some supporters and she's fighting to bring small changes, as she mentions in the film, that small steps. And we both believe that change could come from community itself. And actually we witness that. We think that if something is going to happen in each community, it should be in a grassroots level and should come from people itself and from people like Sara, leaders like Sara. And we need to, in our communities, be someone like Sara, or at least support people and leaders like Sara.
Yeah.
You said it so well. One thing that I can add to it is that because Sara Shahverdi, we were just talking about this very, very small village. I think there were about 2,000 households, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
About 2,000 households at the time when we started filming. Because Sara Shahverdi had been a midwife, her midwifery had a lot to do with the power that she gained over time, because the kids that she delivered were 18-year-old first-time voters. And so that's really how, against all the odds, she was able to receive the votes the way she did. And because she had been a midwife, she knew the ins and outs of not only the village, the needs of the village, but also the stories behind each doors. Sometimes we would just be taking a walk with Sara in the street, and with just an exchange of an eye, I could feel that this woman who's walking up to Sara, they have history.
Right.
They go way back. There's so many vulnerable moments that I know that Sara had witnessed in their lives, and so she knew what they needed, and she knew what it is that could lift them up, whether it's the land, creating a way through bringing gas lines and creating land ownership for women,
Right.
Which was really remarkable. We as filmmakers weren't even sure if she was able to make that happen, and she did. There were 100 women who became co-owners of their houses with their husbands, thanks to Sara.
Right.
This was quite remarkable, and these are the very small shifts and turns and twists that she's able to do. And she's always, in every moment that we captured, sometimes, in family settings, there are men on one side and women on the other side, and we always found Sara right in the middle. She's like talking to men, talking to women, and she's like the negotiator.
Yeah.
She's always in the middle. And
we have scenes in the film.
Yeah.
Well, when we meet her at the very beginning of the film, and she's setting up for her sisters.
Yes.
Because, this document that the brothers have.
Again, she's in the middle of the sisters and the brothers. She's doing that. And also when there's a election celebration, the women are celebrating behind the window and waving to her while the men are dancing outside. And she's, again, in the middle of the two worlds, connecting them together. I think in order to bring that world together, she was essential.
Yeah.
And she's trying to, in the film, to ask women behind the window, to inviting them to come and join her and being active in the society. So, and actually, as observational documentary filmmakers, we spend time to see that. Mm-hmm. That how it's possible, how this is going to happen. So being patient was really essential for this film, Cutting Through Rocks.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of up and downs, a lot of risk taking, just being there and seeing that. For me as an Iranian, for both of us, it was really important to, by capturing that, having an example in our hand for the future, and how a leader, an honest, a brave leader could bring change. And despite a lot of setbacks, some people are there to support her.
Right.
So we see in the beginning Sara as one and only motorcycle rider, and at the end, other teenage girls joining her, and also their parents being there to support them. It was really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it couldn't happen without someone like Sara Shahverdi in the film to fighting for it.
Yeah, that idea of patience, I think that's kind of feeling it. Many documentaries will just try and explain, and then they'll bring in an expert, and then they'll talk about the subject. And here you just sort of allow things to emerge, which is really quite powerful. And a lot of it doesn't even sink in until later for the viewer, I think, so for myself. And for Western viewers, we have an idea of what equality looks like, sexual equality, female empowerment, whatever terminology you want to use. And then we try and assert that over other cultures. Mm-hmm. And maybe that, is there a level where for Iran or whatever culture we're in, yes, we want the power to own our homes, to vote in elections, to run for election. But the hijab, maybe that's fine. Sitting separately, dancing separately, maybe, there are all kinds of steps in between, perhaps. And the point isn't to get from A to B, but just where are we moving to? What direction are things moving? Perhaps, I don't know if that's...
Right. And I think you brought up an interesting point in terms of something feels natural and right in one culture, and it doesn't necessarily in another. And I think tradition has a lot to do with that. And as an outsider to come in to kind of dictate what is right or what is wrong is really, really disruptive and doesn't work at all. And that's why seeing someone from the roots of the culture, from that community, offering that shift. That's what's interesting.
Being emblematic of it. Yeah.
Yes, and because in the beginning, we go from this woman who is the only female motorcycle rider, and it's not really just about motorcycle riding, by the way, because it's more about the courage that comes with it, the ambitious that comes with it. That is, if you are allowed and if you can do this and experience it at least once in your life, then there's so much more that you can do. There's so much potential that comes with it that that will take you to places.
Well, little things like that have great influence. I mean, I'm a bike commuter. That's how I get around. And so we study a little bit about the history of cycling, for instance. And as the bicycle is introduced and women use the bicycle, it gives them freedom to move around into the world. But then the pragmatic reality of a bicycle and being able to ride a bicycle, now all of a sudden styles are changing because the clothing needs to change.
That's a very good point.
There are all kinds of little things that happen just from something as simple as riding a motorcycle.
Exactly.
Of course. And Sara in the film mentioning that while talking with teenage girls in the school, saying that this is the way of dressing and people criticizing me. But this is style for me to jump on my motorcycle very easily. If I have another cover, so it's hard.
If I'm wearing a burqa,
so that way, this is my jacket and my shoes just giving me more freedom to ride a motorcycle. And you're right, it's going to change. It's a symbol in our film too. The Verite by the fire, when she's reflecting on a motorcycle training day, she's saying, now I can ride in my head, and now I think I can do many other things. So this is the point. This is that if you can ride a motorcycle, so also you can be a doctor.
Right.
Also you can continue the education. Also you can choose your husband and partner, not someone giving you the options, and also for the forced marriage or arranged marriage. So these are all connected to each other. And actually you can find in Cutting Through Rocks, and also regarding what you said about the visual language of our film, for both of us, it was very important to make this film for big screen. And we have learned from masters of cinema from different countries that cinema is a global language, and also cinema is all about democracy and giving chance for different perspectives to talk. So in our film, we wanted to create that space. We wanted also involve our audience by, as you said, giving the space to them to have their own interpretations, because we think that audiences are more smarter than us and why we should manipulate them with a lot of music, cut, narration, a lot of voiceovers. So we decided to give them space. Also, when it comes to cinema, I saw a poster of Akira Kurosawa's film here.
Yeah, we have a poster of Ron out.
So we have learned from him from Japan, Robert Bresson from France, Antonioni from Italy, and so many other masters, that cinema is a tool to connect with feelings of people. And we are here to share human emotions, and we are all humans. So with Cutting Through Rocks, we knew that the subject is very global. This is happening in a local a village in Iran, but also the story is also could connect to so many people in the world.
Yeah.
So, and now film being out and film going to more than 100 film festivals from different places, and we get a lot of messages from people talking about similarities. Not talking about, a story from Iran. No, they're talking about their own shared experiences about inequality. Or in person, we had a chance also going to some festivals or to some theatrical screenings and having a chance to connect with audience and having Q&As. And we felt that. Even here in the US, our friends, colleagues, or audience are saying that, guys, this is our own story too. This is us. And also, we are getting a lot of message from different people from different countries saying that Sara Shahverdi is our new role model. So this is amazing. This is the power of cinema. A woman in northwest of Iran, and now seeing that so many people could connect to her story. And this is beauty of filmmaking and beauty of observational documentary filmmaking, verite filmmaking, to experience all of these connections in the process of making the film and also
In the process of watching
after
the film,
that.
yeah. The title, where does it come from?
So we had a lot of conversations with Sara, and one of the nights we actually would do some shooting, but then at nights we would talk a lot, we would have a lot of cups of tea and have a lot of conversations. And one of those nights we were talking about life in general, and Sara was sharing that, you know what, guys, I think about life and its struggles as a mountain full of rocks. And if you chip away a little bit of that rock every day, eventually, at the end of the day, you're going to have a clear path. And she said, I really believe in this. If there's anything, if there's a job to do or homework to do, anything, if I just do a little bit of it every day.
With patience.
It'll...
And time. That's right, because change can't... sometimes change happens quickly, but
exactly.
Sometimes it really takes that kind of just consistent effort.
Exactly. And sometimes the thing that you're trying to shift might be really as hard as a rock, and it's quite impossible to do, but it can be with patience, with time, as you guys are saying.
And this is cutting through rocks. And actually, I can say that also the process of making the film was cutting through rocks, because because we didn't expect.
I talked to a lot of documentary filmmakers, and I get that. That I definitely understand.
Yeah, and also I want to share with you, after finishing the film, despite so many setbacks, also after finishing the film, the whole distribution process for Journey was another cutting through rocks, because we didn't have any distributor, and we just decided to have a team, amazing people, colleagues, to distribute the film independently. So also now people knowing a little bit about the film is through those efforts to having theatrical screenings and connecting the film to people, and even being nominated as the first Iranian documentary feature in the history of Iranian cinema, being nominated for Oscar, it was really cutting through rocks.
Yes.
So yeah, and I love that idea, because also we love the generation after us. I remember myself when I was 20, I had so many masters that they were my role model. I was always reading about not their films and interviews, but also about their process of being filmmaker and how they made their own films. Like Werner Herzog, for example. His journey was amazing to be a filmmaker. And also we want people that maybe now they are 18-year-old, now they are studying cinema. Our film and also our journey could give them small inspiration that how they did it and how we can bring change, even a small change, to our communities by telling the stories. And we need to be a little bit just patient, and also we should believe by our heart to our stories that we are going to tell.
Yeah, as we're talking, I'm remembering this parable or lesson, and it was about the difference between power and influence. And at one level, your film is a film about power. because she's running for an election, and then the power of, and because she's the highest vote getter, she has the stamp, and you know, and how she really wants to retain this power, because power is important. Power is the ability to do things. I don't deny that, but power is also limited. There's only so much power, and if you have power, you've taken it from somebody else, and influence is not limited. In some respects, you don't take influence from anybody else to be able to affect change. And Sara ultimately is her real gift to the world, this idea not just of power, but that even beyond that, I'm going to have an impact on the people in the world around me.
Oh, amazing. May I steal this from you? Now coming.
I think I owe it to Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, but you know, I remember it, I forget it, and I come back to it, but really, she has power before she's won the election.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whether the world recognizes it or not, she does, and
This is the
and I think and she is able to show that to the other people in the community, young girls, older women, whatever, you know. So whether she's an elected official or not, whether she has power or not, she has, you know, the ability to make an impact on the world.
And it's interesting that you say that, because her 4-year term in office came to an end. And a lot of people asked, inside or outside of the community, are you going to rerun for the election? Are you going to, do you want to be in office again? And we were really curious to see what her reaction is. And she said no, because as you said so beautifully, she said, I just continue doing the work that I do. I don't necessarily need that power to continue the work.
Position. The position.
I need that position, because she said, I always felt that there is a wall built, that men are on this side and women are on this side. And my job was to break that wall. And I did it. And now after me, there are more women wanting to run for a council seat. And so then I feel like I fulfilled my job. Now I want to do the next thing. And so she's really always interested in somehow being the first to dare to do something, and then there will people following her.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to be the first. She just wants to show that something can be done.
Exactly.
But you know, let's look at the clip of Sara teaching Farashte how to ride, because that's really, I mean, that's the film. Here's another clip from the film Cutting Through Rocks. Yeah, and by the end of the film, I mean, it's not just we see a lot of. Hopefully, they're still doing that.
Yes. So we go from the first moment where she's the only female motorcycle rider in the region to all the way to, of course, in the middle there's backlashes that you see.
Yeah.
And then at the end, there are these wonderful women, girls who follow her on this beautiful path. Of course, their parents are accompanying them and supporting them. And what's beautiful is that we recently heard that more and more women are riding, not just in this village, but in the region. Wow. And it's not a problem anymore. And that's what I was referring to. You know, we need, like Sara needed to be there as an essential person to be the initiator. She's maybe a better word is initiator. She's the one who dares to say, why not? You know, let's do it. What's the problem with that? And now a lot of the families are realizing that it's actually such a practical thing to do as well, because sometimes the men in this village go farming and the women are indoors. And then if their daughter's able to ride a motorcycle, she can get a lot done in a day.
Yeah.
And so that's becoming more and more practical. And that's really beautiful to see, you know. And the girls that are on the very last shot of the film, we heard recently that 4 of them are now in a university.
Okay.
And the rest of them are continuing their education, and their parents are very supportive of them. And another thing that's happening is that in this village, there's an all-girls school being built. And it's all thanks to Sara initiating that need.
You know, and this is happening. They're building the school in the village, Sara's village, but also other teenage girls could come from other villages to study here because it's a region.
Right.
300 villages all together. So this is good. As I said, change is contagious. So I'm sure we can hear more stories. And Sara recently said, guys, while I'm riding in my car, I see a girl riding motorcycle. I make sure to let them know that how proud I am, saying that, oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real small steps, and we can see and we can feel, and we are so proud. Because, and also those girls going to universities, I'm sure also they're going to inspire other girls in the village. I'm sure we can see more girls like Sara in the region. And this is amazing. This is democracy we're talking about. Oh, of course, this is a grassroots change and inspiring each other. And we need each other to be inspired, to remind each other about so many beautiful things that we need to, and we need to support each other. So it's happening. It's not happening in one night, but it's happening. It's a process. And also what you said about influence and power. Unfortunately, by reading the contemporary history and also history of humankind in different countries, you see when some people get the power, they're afraid of sharing that power. They want to have control over everything to not losing their own power. So this is coming from fear.
Yes.
And they want to suppress other voices. So what the beauty of influence, as you said, if we have someone like Sara, even by having power in a very small setting of the village, you can see that they're not afraid of losing the power. They see power in empowering others. So this is why we need story of cutting through rocks more than ever. It's more urgent than ever. It's timely and timeless, of course. And we're here to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, arguably especially timely now with what's, the events of the past few weeks. As we're recording this in Iran, protests have died down, but obviously the desire for change is still there. In terms of getting the film made, being able to show it in Iran, how have the authorities reacted to this? We know Sara can't come to the U.S. for the Oscars, although that's not Iran's decision. I guess.
But yes, we are always facing with different problems. Inside Iran, outside of Iran. And this is, for both of us, it's hard to explain and how to digest it. So we've worked on this film, and this is Sara Shahverdi's right to come and attend to Oscar and celebrate. We wanted to celebrate it together. And we want to praise her, what she's doing. Oh my God, we are here in the US. Oh, we need to have Sara. But because of one rule, travel ban, she can't.
She can't come.
So this is also my question. I really need to find an answer for it. And also back home, because of a lot of different reasons, we can't have her. But we are thinking about, regarding the screening, we both love to have community screenings in the village and other villages to show to people. And because we believe in the power of cinema, we want to show the film and also have conversation with them. And we both always mention that we love to look at men and women while they're watching the film to see their reaction. And also we want to have Sara Shahverdi to talk with them, to see. And Sara was recently sharing with us that, guys, when she watched the film, she said, sometimes I need 10 years to negotiate with people, mostly with men, to change something, change their perception. But you did it with 90-minute film.
Power of compressing time.
Which took 8 years. Yeah.
But I also wanted to add that so this was a very long journey of filmmaking for us as independent filmmakers, and it was it's hard to make any documentary films anywhere. And that's why I have so much respect to all documentary filmmakers, because you just have to have a lot of patience and just really wait around and see what happens and to be able to film it. But in our case, another layer of difficulty was that it's not easy to be an independent filmmaker in Iran. We were a lot of the times we were questioned. At some point we were there was a house search for several hours in our apartment, and they confiscated our hard drives. And we received our hard drives after a month, but everything was labeled, and so it was really, really complicated. We were constantly wondering if we could ever finish the film, and we were banned from leaving Iran for one entire year as we were in production. And so while that was all happening, a little bit, I think, after that, this Sara Shahverdi was questioned for, in a way, her gender, but they were kind of questioning her power.
Yes.
And so in a way, we were doing what we love to be doing, which is storytelling. And Sara Shahverdi was doing what she loves to be doing, which is empowering women and girls. And when things like that happens, usually they come out of the blue, and then the cases are closed out of the blue. It takes about a year or so, but it's easy in retrospect to say, but it's extremely uncertain and frustrating, and you don't know when the next time is that you can go for a shoot, but when the case closed, in our case, we went right back to production, because we didn't have anything to hide. We didn't have anything to worry about, because this was an essential story that we wanted to tell, and we felt that we don't want to wait around for anything else to happen and to not have the moment, have the opportunity to tell the story. So it was risky, but we wanted to do it. We wanted to make sure that we finish telling the story. And same with Sara. What happened to her, in a way, was unfair. And it really brought her down, and she was really heartbroken for a very long time, and trying to understand who did it, or what was the cause, and all of this was really just questioning her abilities and her power, and basically saying being a woman and being powerful don't go together, which is humiliating. And having gone through this experience as filmmakers and that experience as a human brought us together in a very, very, even like a deeper way. And we, as a team, we became like, that brought a lot of solidarity in our mission to tell this story. And if there was any other hurdle along the way, of course, of storytelling, which is always the case, we didn't care anymore. We're like, it doesn't matter. We must tell this story. This is important, and we must do it. So that just kind of added in that and became a very, very essential part of our being, our existence, and our lives. And once the story finished, that's why it's really difficult to be an independent filmmaker in Iran as well. And so once that finished, that's why it is kind of like cutting through rocks to tell this story as well. And once that finished and we finally had the moment to premiere the film at Sundance, I kind of want to talk a little bit about distribution here.
Yeah, please. So the film premiered at Sundance in 2025.
The film premiered at Sundance 2025. We are extremely honored for that opportunity, and of course we were so humbled to have received the Grand Jury Award at Sundance in 2025. That still it brings a big smile in our faces, and also a lot of feeling of happiness, but also feeling humble, because for us to be recognized in that level was really, really amazing, and gave us a lot of moments of flashback to see, wow, look, we made it. We are here. We made it, and this was really amazing. But after that, usually in the documentary industry, at Sundance is the time to find distribution.
Yes.
U.S. distribution for the film. And that didn't happen. And we just kept on going. And we did really quite well. The film did quite well in a festival circuit. But since we didn't find a distribution, we figured, why not independently releasing the film? We started at Film Forum in New York, which was really great. Usually there's a 1-week run, but to our surprise, there was a 3-week run.
That's fabulous.
It extended to 3 weeks, which was really amazing in November in New York, given the fact that this is a foreign language film. Was really remarkable. And then we expanded to San Francisco and LA when we came to Lemley, which is really amazing. There are a lot of downsides to not having a distribution, but we found a very wonderful small team of independent distributors, Assembly Releasing, that they're supporting us with theatrical releases. And the positive side of being able to theatrically release the film is that, one, we get to show the film on a big screen. Is something that it's very, very rare these days. Mm-hmm. And we cherish that as cinema lovers, as cinephiles, and also filmmakers. And the other really amazing positive side of theatrically releasing the film is to being able to have that human connection, being able to be close to the audience, sit with the audience, experience the film with the audience. There's a lot going on in the silence of cinema when you're sitting together as a group.
Yeah, you can feel how people.
You feel it. You feel their breath. You feel the suspense. You feel the happiness. You feel everything, and it's so interesting how how the feedback of the audience is different from one town to the other, one cinema to the other, and to be able to experience that is really, really rare, because if your film is picked up by a platform and you're not able to experience the cinema, then there's a disconnect between the filmmaker and the audience. Yeah. And you don't want that. You want to be able to have that. But of course, also you want to be able to have your film have a life and have a moment to be able to be seen and have it readily available on a platform that
There are communities that don't have movie theaters. There are people that need to see this film, that want to see this film, and anyway, we wanted to get the broadest possible distribution and greatest possible awareness. That's part of the reason why we're doing this, the podcast, is to let people know what's out there.
Yes. Well, thank you for doing this. And I kind of wanted to say that if I wish as filmmakers we get to experience both sides. We get to experience the theater experience as well as a platform experience. And sometimes there's a disconnect between the two worlds. And also, I'm not entirely sure what is happening in this industry, right now. I think particularly the documentary industry in the U.S. is not doing so well. But at the same time, a film like ours...
Unless Jeff Bezos wants to give you,
Right.
Well, that's not a documentary, so let's not talk about that one.
Right. But I think what makes me, in a way, what makes me really, really excited to be where we are today as independent filmmakers, bringing this film on with a grassroots team that we put together, being nominated for the Oscars, which it's extremely amazing and humbling, and I think it's also a very exciting opportunity for other filmmakers to see a model here, to see that an independent filmmaking model can exist where you get to tell the story the way you want to tell it, and it can be from anywhere that you're from, and that it can still have some kind of a visibility. And so ideas like that can bring a lot of inclusivity to this industry, and that's really what makes me hopeful.
Yeah. So the film is currently only screening in theaters. That's the only way people can see it. And where can they get information about where it's playing? Is it it's cuttingthroughrocks.com?
Yes, it's
one of the places, but
yes. So in order for the audience to find out where we are screening on theaters, is to look up cuttingthroughrocks.com, and that's where we update all the screenings there. And also we have a social media page on Instagram, Cutting Through Rocks Film, and that's really where we share all the info about where we are theatrically releasing the film.
And I suppose they can request screenings as well, or maybe they can get information about how to schedule a screening if they just want to do it at a house of worship, school, whatever groups would like to show the film.
And that's really how we've been doing it. We started a few months back at Laemmle in LA, and now we're back in Laemmle, and it was really great. We this past weekend we screened at Santa Monica Laemmle and Glendale Laemmle, and because it was sold out, the film is going to be screened again.
Yeah,
and this is really how it works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And people go and talk with their friends and communities about the film. So that way they're asking the managers of cinema to bring more screenings, and this is amazing actually. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take, the lesson of Sara and rebuild things a little bit at a time, slowly but surely and locally. And it's going to be one event at a time, one film at a time, one film goer at a time. But spread the word.
Yes.
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 And thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Oh, it's my
we as filmmakers, we need the theaters to remain open, because that's really how cinema can continue being powerful and exist the way it does.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then Sara's going to be my influence, and I'm going to be stubborn like her. Not stubborn. Maybe stubborn and strong and resolute. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing through thick and thin and against all odds, and continue to show movies from around the world, because as much as this is a particular story, there is something that's truly international and speaks to everybody. And really, I can't thank you again to make the film in the manner that you did, to trust that the audience is going to get something from it without beating them over the head with it, to doing it, as you say, in that observational documentary style. It really was the right choice, the strong choice. Maybe not always the easy choice, but I think it's paid dividends. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The film is Cutting Through Rocks. Again, you can get information. It's being independently released and distributed, but you can get information at cuttingthroughrocks.com or look for it on various social media channels. Sara Khaki and Mohammadreza Eyni, it's been a real pleasure having to have this conversation with you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us. If you've enjoyed the episode, please make sure to subscribe and like and share information so that more people can find out about the film, Cutting Through Rocks. It's nominated for Best Documentary Feature, and a well-deserved honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for all of your audience, listeners.
Yes, absolutely.
This episode of Inside the Arthouse was produced by Wishing Well Entertainment and Raphael Sparge, with on-site production by Naryn Dickerson. Our supervising producers are Thomas Cassetta and Miles McCreary. The episode was edited by Rick Pratt, with sound mixing by Thomas Cassetta. Our musical theme was composed by Isabel Engman and Gerardo Garcia Jr., graphics by Jenna DeAngelis, and social media marketing and web design by Stephanie Peters. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing. See you next time on Inside the Arthouse.